All right, we are live, and I just got to do a couple of things here, get my act together. And I got to change one thing on my Amazon thing here. Actually, I'm going to go with it because they said they upped it to 1080p, but it looks like they're not letting me deliver them that. Stand by, everybody. I just have to make one adjustment to my Amazon broadcast here. And then I'm going to try a lower bit rate at 1080p and see if that... They said that you can do 1080p now, but I am not sure if that's working yet. Let's see. Let me go back and see what they say now. Preview. Oops. Yeah, it's still... Okay, so we're going to do the 720p again. So let me stop 2, and we're going to change it back to where we were, which was 2.5 megabit per second. And we'll get going here in just a second. They spelled fragile wrong, by the way, in case you're wondering. All right, there we go. Yeah, it didn't like the 1080p. They were telling us to do 1080p to Amazon now, but it doesn't seem to be functional. Well, we'll go live here. So this just came in, like, hot off the mailbox. So I was planning to do something totally different today, but I'm going to push that off till tomorrow. And I thought this might be of interest to some of you. And give me a second while I get combobulated here. So what we're looking at is, oops, gosh darn it. So I have to fix, another problem I'm having is that hi everybody, my keyboard here reset its settings and now it's like super sensitive. If I just like accidentally tap on it, here, watch what happens. If I just, I mean, not even a light tap is now enough to like throw this thing off. Ready? If I go, it's driving me crazy, and I can't fix it on this computer because it installs this memory resident software just to turn that off. So I've got to like put it on a different computer. It's a long story. It's a first world problem, as they say, but it's driving me crazy. So we are looking at this Raspberry Pi, not Raspberry Pi, OrangePi display. This display is $65. It's as cheap as you can get, 1080p. Link in the description. And we got Romerick and Andy G, and Nigel, and Matthew, and CM, and Trent is here. I got to get my act together on amateur radio after the new year too. Laz Martinez is here, George is here, James is here, another ham operator, along with Joe Tyson. Lots of hams in the chat today. Napworks is here. Laz, yeah, hot off the slow boat. We used to call it the slow boat. And James is here. Yeah, black screen. Yeah. You guys are 30 seconds behind me here. And Kevin is here from Lakeland. And I'm guessing it must be busy now, Kevin, right? Because you got a lot of people traveling for the holiday rush. We're going to have a big storm here on Christmas Eve. There's a good chance we're going to lose power. So, yeah, so this thing is $65, portable display. Can't get any cheaper than that. And we'll see how well it does. I want to thank Roman, who's often the guy that finds all these deals for me. Here, let me get you the link. I'll put it in the chat too, in case people miss that. It probably won't get to you by Christmas. But if you're looking for something that's not expensive, this is it. And I don't know where any of my knives went, so I'm using a pair of wire cutters. That's all I could find. Good enough to get it open, I think. And yeah, so this might be useful, especially if you don't want to spend a lot on a portable display. My expectations are set quite low here because I don't know how good the quality is going to be on this or how long it will last. But you could buy like 5 of these for what some of the other ones cost, right? So you can't go wrong with that. And we'll see what it's all about here as we go. Yeah, so all the power companies now are saying, oh, you know, just be ready, because none of them actually have any screws anymore. So when you have one of these widespread issues, this is not working. When you have one of these widespread issues like this, it's usually a week. So we'll see what happens. My expectations are not high here, but one thing they have been doing, which I think has made a bit of a difference, is they've put the electrical wires up higher. And I think that's helped a little bit. But, you know, we'll see where it goes. And yes, I'm opening this with a screwdriver because I can't find anything. I used to have a box cutter. I had a Leatherman that was here. And as you can hear, everything just falls off this desk all day, and I can't find what I need to unbox it. So apparently the specs on this are that it is running as it's an IPS display, so the viewing angles should be good. But we'll see. Again, my expectations on the quality here are very low. So here's what the here's what it looks like. So we have a USB power source. It's a 2 amp. We have a little metal stand. Actually, that's more than I get out of most of these displays that have like that envelope that they come with, right? So that's a plus. Here we have, I'm guessing this is the power cable. Okay, here we've got a USB Type-C power cable. It's a USB-A. And here we've got a full-size HDMI cable. All right, we're getting there. Yeah, we're not getting the freezing rain here. We are getting here it is. So picture, this is what it feels like to me. Picture a laptop without the laptop. That's what this is. And Laz is wondering, does it have a Pi inside? It does not. So this is strictly a display. And it feels like it might have some utility. It does not feel like it's going to survive a fall, but we have a little menu thing here, right here. We have a headphone jack, believe it or not, a USB-A port. I'm guessing you can plug your dongles in there. On the other side, we have 2 USB Type-C ports. One is labeled power. The other one, I'm guessing, is a display port, and then there's an HDMI input on it. So that's pretty helpful. And Grayson says, IPS, I am not going back to that technology. Yes, you're not going to get OLED for 65 bucks. So that is it. It looks like my camera focus is a little bit off. We'll get to that in a second. Let me turn on the autofocus for now. There we go. All right, so we're getting there. Now, it doesn't look like this stand. The stand is kind of like its own thing here. But at least you get one in the box. So it just kind of rests in the stand here. Let me get the angle down. By the way, Grayson, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate it. All right, we'll get it angled here so you don't see that light. And now we have to peel off. Oh yeah. Peel off the plastic here. And of course it doesn't go easily here. Great. So remember what I was talking about with quality, like this is what you get for 65 bucks. So just be ready for that. It's not cracked. It is just the sticker stuff here that just came off. And Travel Diva is joining us again on the Amazon chat. I got a lot of people on Amazon today. Looks like it's all Christmas shopping season stuff. There we go. I'm going to be back tomorrow. Tomorrow on Amazon, we're going to be playing with an Atari 2600 as I am getting myself ready for my retro video. I do a retro video at the end of the year each year, and that's always a fun one for me. Now, I am not going to use this because I have a USB power source on the floor. So let's plug this in. But it's definitely not cracked. It was just the film that you got to take off. So we're going to use the included power here. We're going to plug. Yeah. So there's the USB-C on the side here is for a display, and the problem I have right now is that it's in Chinese. So I have no idea what the heck it says. So let's see if I can pull up a menu here. I'm guessing that said no input or something, right? And what I'm also going to do is, let me go find my handy-dandy Thunderbolt cable. Actually, I got one right here. I can just swap this out. I'm going to try to plug this in to my MacBook here and just see if it can power the display without a separate power source. So let's see what happens when I do that to start with. So we got my MacBook here. I'm just going to plug the MacBook directly in without power. So, because a lot of these displays allow you to do it with, oh, look at that. Huh. So, no power. So it's drawing its power right now from the MacBook. And it's as dim as it looks. So no touch controls, obviously. So now I need to figure out, how we can get the brightness up on this thing. So if I hit the button, okay, that's brightness. So, you know, it's not bad. It looks pretty good. Yeah, I think I need to do that, Chris White, with the with the camera on the phone. I think that's probably what we're going to have to do. So the good news is that you don't need, so this works a lot like the other portable displays that I have reviewed in the past. So if you just plug like a Mac into it directly, it comes right up. So that's pretty cool. And I'm guessing the switch won't work the same way, but we'll try that in a minute. What I want to do first, though, is figure out a way to get, I'm not even sure what this one does. It must be the volume. Oh, that turned it off. Okay, so that turns it off. There's only like one button on the side of it here, so. All right, so let's go. Ah, here we go. So here's the OSD, as they call it. Apparently it supports FreeSync. I'm just looking for the language settings here. Okay, here we go. English. Aha. All right, so now we've got English. Cool. All right, so that's working. And let's go to, I want to see if I can go to the brightness again. There's apparently some HDR on here, but this is not very bright, so I don't know if HDR is going to be all that useful. That's volume. Okay, so now I know what these things say, which is great. Okay, so I think I have it at the full brightness here. And volume, there's no speakers on it, at least not that I don't think there are. Let's see. I don't know if HDR is going to be. Let's go over to. Yeah, so I have audio going through here. Oh, there is a speaker on it. And volume, there's no speakers on it? There's a speaker on it. Look at that. We're finding value here, everybody. I am impressed. Yeah, and I think what it'll do is it'll bring the brightness way down on it. Exactly, Grayson. So we found that with that Samsung gaming monitor we reviewed a couple of days ago. But yeah, this thing's pretty cool. So right now, there's only one cable going into it. So I just have the Mac here plugged in. So there's no external power source. Some things like a game, so if we plugged in the Xbox, which we'll do in a minute, the Xbox is going to need to be, the display is going to need a power source going in. But because I'm running it off of the Mac here, it is drawing power from the Mac. But like other portable displays, it's only going to be doing like 2 amps. So not bad. Yeah, I think, granted, we're just starting out here, but I would agree with this assessment. I mean, it is bare bones, but it works. There's no case with it, so you're going to have to find a way to protect it. But it seems like, so far, pretty good here. And Michael's got a great idea. Attach it to your tripod, right? Exactly. And I think there's actually a mount on the back of it. I don't know if it's a Visa mount. It might be. I need to research that, but here, I'll show you the back of it here. There is, I think this might be a Visa mount. It's only got 2 screws on it, but you got that speaker back there too. The only problem with this display is that you're not going to get it by Christmas, so be prepared to wait. It comes off that, that slow boat, as they say. Let me see if there's anything else in the box here, because I'm curious if there's... Yeah, just a manual here in the box. So there's no mount, but it looks like a Visa mount. Let's see. Well, that's right, we got to plug the phone in too to see if that works. It's telling you what's compatible. I'm guessing the Nintendo Switch is going to need a dock. So let's try it. Because that other display we looked at recently did not require a dock. All right, so let's go grab, let me go grab a, oh, the Steam Deck would be one to plug into that also, right? Where'd I put my Switch? I brought my Switch down, but like everything in this black hole I work out of, it just disappears. I always say, like, this is the week I'm going to go and clean up this mess, and then I never get around to it. All right, so here's the Switch. Now, I doubt that it's just going to come up when I plug this in. But let's see. So again, doubts are high, right? Doubts are high. And negative. So this is going to require... the Switch is going to require that you have the display powered, and you're going to have to go in over HDMI. But let's do that real quick. So here is my little dock here. Meat Face says it's not 8K. No, it's not 8K. You're not going to get the 8K goodness going on here. But for $65, it's not 720p either. Okay. All right, give me a few minutes here to get reoriented. Splat Dragon, Atari VCS. We're going to have a real Atari VCS here tomorrow. That's what we're going to be playing with tomorrow. All right, so now I've got my little Switch dock here. And what we're going to do is attempt an HDMI connection. So we're going to grab our... I'm going to add one thing to the product mix here because I have another controller that's on my list of... I'm so backed up. You know, the problem is that I try to be thorough. I could just crank out videos hawking stuff, right? But I try to be as thorough as possible. And in the course of that, it takes me a lot longer to produce videos because I like to be correct. Nicholas says, what is this dock? Ah, this is the, I got to put this in there too. This is the Brook dock. This one's actually kind of neat. I reviewed this a while back. And here, let me add it to the product mix here too. I reviewed this dock a little while ago. This is a switch dock that has, this one has Bluetooth audio built in, and then it also, does it have Bluetooth? It had Bluetooth something built in, but also the most important thing is that you can plug in GameCube controllers into the dock. And so you can use a GameCube controller and have it show up as a regular Pro controller. Yeah, this is called the Brook Power Bay. They've got one now with Ethernet built in. So they got a couple of different versions of it. I'll just add them all to the stream here so you can see what they look like. And I'll go back into the stream here. I'm just talking to on the Amazon thing here, but I'll put the one that I have up here. And so what I'm going to do is, yeah, and that was the other question. This is the Brook Power Bay. I've got it linked in the video. If you go to the Amazon link, it'll take you right in. And so it looks like a little GameCube, but you can use the GameCube controllers as Pro controllers. It is really cool. And folks, yeah, so I'm going to try that 9300 color setting in a second here. And yeah, no OLED on this one. This is strictly IPS. 65 bucks, you're not going to get much there. We are going to plug the Steam Deck in, though. And actually, I think, did I pay that much for shipping? Let me look and see what I paid for it for shipping. It'll vary based on where you are in the world. I think, yeah, because this thing I ordered weeks ago, and it showed up just now. So I was about to do something totally different, and it just showed up. So if I go over to, here, I'll just reselect it here. Go here. So what is the shipping on this? So in the US, oh, you're right, $24. Did I pay that much to ship it? That's crazy. Well, I take it back then. It's still reasonably priced, but the $24 shipping is crazy. I don't think I paid that much. Let me see what I paid for shipping. Maybe I did. And it might just be who the seller is right now. Let me look. So what happens is Roman emails me these things, and then I just buy them because he gets me. Yeah, you know what? I paid that much for shipping. So yeah, I'll be accurate in the. Let me change that. Did I say? I didn't say that. Okay, good. I will make sure that I am accurate in my description in the video. That is a bit misleading. So yeah, I thought I paid $65 for this, but I really paid 100 bucks. But even then, I think 100 bucks for a display that works like this is not a bad deal. Okay, so now we've got the switch here. I got to plug in my power adapter. And what I like to do, because I have an older Switch, I use the Nintendo branded adapter just to be safe. And then we're going to plug that into the back. Here. And we will test the deck setup in a second, actually. And actually, let me make some notes here, because I do need to make sure I cover all that in the review that I'll do. All right, so we plug that in. And now you can see nothing's happening on the display, because what I have to do is I need to plug in some power to the display. So when you have the HDMI going, you need to power it separately. And so now the display is powering up. There it goes. So that is working. And then I'm going to take out a new 8BitDo controller that I haven't yet had a chance to review. My daughter's been playing Pokemon. We got her this game for Hanukkah, Legends Arceus, and she was very excited to get this game. Yeah, this dock is really cool. If you are into Smash Brothers, this dock is one to look for, because it has what you're looking for. All right, let me go and pair this up with the Switch here. Yeah, I can plug a Fire Stick in. Yeah, I'm disappointed. This came directly from China. So that is why the shipping is in there the way it is. And we got to wait there. Oh, just put itself to sleep. Hang on a second. I'm waiting for my controller to pair up here. I forgot. This is a new controller, so I forget what the process is for getting it to work with the switch here. And the way this works is that this new one, it requires, it does Bluetooth for the switch, and it has a dongle for the PC. And we learned that the hard way the other day. And Chris says there's 2 sellers. Okay, so let's take a look here. Let me go into the listing. Yeah, I got bamboozled, I think. So one seller is Shenzhen Zunlong something or other, and that's the one that charges you $24 for shipping. And then if you choose, who's the other seller? Okay, so then there's another one here that will do $82. Oh, interesting. So here's the deal. It's the same seller. So I don't have my screen up, otherwise I would show you. So if you got to go into the new to from, and so the free Prime delivery, that one's $81.99, but it's still cheaper, right? Because you're saving about $10 over the boat from China one. But that one's not coming until January. So it looks like they are filling these up in the Amazon warehouse right now. So that's what's going on there. All right, so I got to figure out how to get this controller to pair up with this switch. Let me go in here real quick and just get this situated. Go to Find Controllers. That's a new feature, isn't it? So it looks like the price on this is going to settle in at around $82, which I still think is a pretty good deal for a portable display. And Chris says, yeah, that's the seller, Shenzhen Zunlong Software Company. Yes, this is different than the Raspberry Pi Foundation in the UK. But as with everything, or most things, I paid for this, so. Hey, there it is. Here he is, Roman. So Roman, this was the display that you recommended. I finally got it in. And it looks like after the holidays, it's going to be available on Amazon. So that will be like on the Prime deal. But it seems to be working. So what we've discovered so far with it is that it will, I'm going to switch to my other controller in a second. This one's not pairing up for some reason. What it will do is it will work through the single cable. So if you do plug it into your laptop, it will power itself over the USB-C connection. I'm going to switch to this one. I'm sure I'm missing something on that controller, but we'll get back to that one. There we go. All right. And it has a speaker built in also in the back. It's not a great speaker, but it works. Now somebody said I should change the color temperature. So right now it does look a little on the colder side. So if we go to, oh, it went back to Chinese again. Hang on a second. I had set it to English. There it goes. I set it to English and then it went back to Chinese. All right, so let me go back to the picture. Brightness, and the brightness went down again too. So it looks like it forgets its settings. Or maybe you have to save them. Let's see. All right, so that's the brightest setting. It's about as bright. I don't have a nits rating on this. I would say it's about as bright as all the other ones that we've looked at in this class of device. Temperature, let's see. So somebody said look at the 9300. So that's a little on the colder side for me. That's a little too warm. I'm going to leave it kind of here at the user one. I mean, it looks pretty good. You know, it's IPS. Let me load up a game that like runs at 60. Let's do this one. All right, here we go. So we'll play a little Outrun. This is a great port, by the way. Turn my... Just to get a sense of the display's capabilities here. I mean, you're not going to, you're not going to do your photo editing on this thing. Well, you can, but it's not going to look all that great. But it seems like it works okay here. Yeah, we're getting a 60 FPS result here. Got the speaker. It's not going to work like the one that we looked at, though. So remember that one we looked at from Pepper Jobs? That one has a battery built in, so you can plug the switch in just with a cable. This one's going to require a dock to interface with. But it looks fine. The viewing angles aren't bad on it. It definitely looks better when you're more or less directly in front of it, but it's not like... Well, I never like got into the high gear here, did I? Let's see how long I can last. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, this is the Sega Ages port, which is a... What's nice about these Sega Ages ports is that they recode the game so it's more than just emulation. And supposedly this supports FreeSync. And I will try a lag test on it. I don't have high expectations for how that's going to go, but I will look at that. And Chris Allegretta is looking at doing his own... Yeah, what do you think that'll cost, Chris, to run your own? I've been thinking about... I did that whole thing on decentralization the other day, and I want to set up a PeerTube and a Mastodon instance that I have control over. That's going to be this week's project while I'm taking my week off. All right, so let's take a look. It actually looks pretty good. I will say that it's, oh, what's going on here? I'm not doing that. I'm getting some control drift here. All right, so let's do... Let me hook up the Xbox now, because supposedly this works with, this supports AMD FreeSync. And Amda Brown hated Outrun in the 80s. His eyes couldn't keep up with the animation. Maybe it was the scaling that messed it up, huh? And I think if Chris and I did that, it would take us months, because I'm so bad at configuring Linux stuff. And glad you like the indie web there. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to end up. I think we're going to have, the 2010s were about centralizing things because it was so hard to find stuff, like bring everybody to one spot. I think what the next decade is going to be is taking those concepts and making them work in a decentralized manner, which is kind of what we're seeing with Mastodon, right? I don't think it's going to become, as, it's a matter of whether or not somebody's going to invest a lot of money in it, right? But I think there's potential there. All right, so now I want to hook the Xbox up. So let me disconnect the switch here. Let me turn it off here. And we're going to put the Xbox up now and see what happens with that. Let me make a list of things that I want to cover in this video. So this is the OrangePi display. So it's effectively 80-something bucks once it gets over to Amazon. So we're going to look at the Mac, gaming PC, I guess. We're going to look at the Switch, Xbox. It won't support GeForce G-Sync stuff, but it does apparently support FreeSync. So that will be what we can use the Xbox for. I have like AMD mini PCs that we could test it with also if need be. What was the other thing I wanted to look at? We wanted to look at DeX and then input latency. I'm guessing the input latency is not going to be great on this, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now it just so happens I've got an Xbox right here. So let's put the Xbox on the desk. We'll put the dock here down for a second. And we'll just get everything. I could put this on top of the Xbox, actually. It's kind of on the fan. It's not blocking any of the airflow, I guess, right? Yeah, probably not an ideal use case. You know what we could do, actually? Because it has feet, we could stand it up. That's what we're going to do. So we'll do that. I'll zoom out a little bit here. That's a pretty handsome looking unit, I have to say. It's like a monolith. All right. So we still have power connected to the display. And now what I'm going to do is find some power for the Xbox. And we're going to plug that in. And I know I've got power down here somewhere. And tonight's video, everybody, is going to be a follow-up on the Amazon Cube to see if it works now with some of the things it didn't work with before. All right, got that plugged in. May as well connect up some Ethernet, right? Why not? We have it. So I'll plug in a little Ethernet action there, and then we're going to run the HDMI. And it does have a full-size HDMI here on the side, so you can plug in a full-size deal there. And what I should have done with the Switch was recorded some B-roll, but I am going to record some B-roll with the Xbox here. Look at that. Yeah, let's get this connected here. Excuse me. So let me get some B-roll set up here. And this is going to be the OrangePi display. I know I'm missing comments, so let me go back to my comments here and see what I missed. Yeah, I looked at DigitalOcean for this, and it's not that expensive. For Mastodon, it's not that expensive. It is really expensive if you're looking, actually everything is going to be. And that's the other thing that I was looking at, is that Cloudflare has that tunnel. And I've got an extra separate gigabit leg here as part of my Comcast connection that I'm just using for IoT stuff. So I would almost set this little server up on that, which is isolated from the rest of my network because it's on a different IP range. And Finger's coming back, right? Because I used to finger people. That's what they used to call it, by the way. This is not inappropriate. There used to be a Unix command, there still is, called finger, and that's how you found out when Doom was coming out. You would type in John Carmack's email address with the finger command, and it would go to his finger server, and he would have a newsletter up about him and Romero. The whole id Software team had that, and now it's coming back as WebFinger. So pretty cool stuff. Yes, we're going to get to the Steam Deck next. And actually, the Steam Deck has AMD on board, right? So that should support FreeSync. So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, pair up this controller. I'm going to check and see what the Xbox detects for the display. I'm getting my money's worth out of this Series S. All right, so let's take a look and see. Is that 1080p? So, yeah, we're going to have to try it with the Steam Deck because I cannot select the variable refresh rate on this. I can only select the YCC422. So I'm just going to record a quick little B-roll run here just to show that it works. And then we'll plug the Steam Deck in. The stand isn't bad. Actually, I prefer the stand to what I see typically with these displays, which are those like flip over folder things. Stop repping me, Crab Bun. Yeah, let's keep it PG. Yeah, Carmack's out of there. I think everyone's disappointed VR hasn't taken off the way they were hoping it would. And it's a shame because VR is so good, right? Like this game in particular, you want to talk about a great game. Hey, I want to just do a quick... I don't want to play with other people. Left stick. Let's see. I just want to do like a training episode here. Yeah, practice. All right. Let that load up real quick. Thank you for the super chat, Keith Robinson. Happy holidays to you as well. Yeah, I'm trying to get a lot done this week. I'm not having much success at that, unfortunately. All right. But the VR mode in this game is amazing. My only gripe with it is that they don't have they don't recreate the Star Wars battles from the original trilogy. I would kill for that. Like I would pay a hefty fee for DLC to do like the great battles of Star Wars in VR with this, because the VR is really good. This is not a high refresh rate, 60 hertz max. But what do you want for 80 bucks, right? All right, so let's hit the record button here when I get closer to the... And I have a hard time with this game because the throttle and some of the controls are on... Like, this is not a game you play with one of these sticks. Like, you got to play this with a HOTAS. And my controls are inverted, which does not help matters here either. Let me go back and just... I'm storming the Star Destroyer. I'm going for it. Definitely not a very high... By the way, I'm just watching this here. The All right, so note to self, do not rush the Star Destroyer. I am noticing that the response rate is very high on this, meaning that there's a lot of motion blur. All right. So whenever you're moving around, you see a lot of motion blur. All right, that's good enough for B-roll, I think. All right, so let me go and just make a note. Lots of motion blur. Okay. And Phil Hill knows Smart Home Tech is here. Hello there. Thanks for joining the celebration today. Every day's a celebration here. Yeah, right. They put legs in there finally. He was complaining about that the Carmack was, about the lack of legs on there. I think I just put it to sleep. Let me shut it down properly here. I'm very pleased with this, this Series S. If you've got like a 1080p display, you know what's nice about it is that they're doing, they're not as restrictive about what you can install on it. So this thing, I mean, the Series X as well is good for this, but even this one, as an emulation center, you can get RetroArch on it now, and it's not hard to do, and it runs great. And so when you're thinking about, like, should I get a home theater PC? I mean, you can't beat the price on this. It's like, what, 250 bucks? What's it going for right now? Like the holiday edition, yeah, $249. So could you buy a PC for $249 that could run the GameCube Dolphin stuff as well as this does? I think it runs on that through RetroArch. It's great. Plus you get the whole library. If you have Game Pass, you got that whole deal too. So, and look how nice it is. And it's not great on the streaming apps. We talked about that in a video I did recently. But for Plex, it's actually pretty darn good. It's falling short just on the Dolby Vision front, but it does everything else really well. So it's next to the NVIDIA Shield for Plex. I rate it quite highly. All right, by popular request, we're going to plug in the Steam Deck. Hopefully I've got battery power on this thing. We'll find out. So one problem with the Steam Deck is you're always charging it. it's never charged. And no battery. Okay, so we're going to have to plug this in. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to get out my trusty dock, which I believe is upstairs, because you can't output video at the same time here. Yeah, I got the same deal BB Garnett did, and then when I went in to, hang on a second, I got to run upstairs for a second. When I checked out, they had a problem with the gift card. They just took 50 bucks off, so I only paid 200 for mine too. It's a great deal. I mean, find a PC that does that. Hang on a second. All right, hang on a second. I'm going to do one other thing here. I'm just going to grab a Thunderbolt cable, so I have a little bit more length on it. That's an old Thunderbolt cable. That's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, you know, everything is like just disappearing around me because I don't put things back when I take them out, and that's on me, but all right. So this dock, which is not on the list of stuff here, this is a great little dock. So this is the VisionTech VT400. I'm going to add this to the mix here. This was one of my products of the year because of its utility. And I'm using a Thunderbolt cable with it just because the Thunderbolt cable, I can be assured, has all the features that I need it to have. But I'm just going to add this to the mix here. So what I like about this dock, let me select it on my product carousel here. What I like about the dock that I am featuring is that the cable garages itself in here. And what's nice is that you can use this cable to connect, but if you need something longer, you can plug in a longer cable. So I'm going to plug in this Thunderbolt cable in a second. Now what I'm going to do here is plug some power in. So this goes to the computer. This is for charging. So you plug that in here. And then I plug this in here. And then I plug this in here. Now, normally, what would happen here is that because my battery is dead, I have no other way. You have no other way to bring power into the Steam Deck than to use USB-C. So what I will do in the main video is make sure this thing is fully charged because you should be able to just connect the display to it with the USB cable and be done with it. But what we're going to have to do in the interim is run it this way. But I have little doubt that this will not work. It'll work. I have no power in this Steam Deck, so that's why it's not coming on. So we'll give it a second to charge up here. Yeah, I'm going to let it charge for a minute or two. This will also, by the way, another neat feature of this is it passes 100 watts through it. So if you've got a larger laptop that's using more than 60, which is what most of them do, and you got Ethernet, 2 USBs, so it's downloading an update. That's our problem. So the short answer is yes, the Steam Deck works with it, but we will see how it goes. I don't know. I think it does 16 million. I'll have to check. Let me check the specs. Let's see. So here's what I have for specs. Yeah, I guess it is only so it's only 45% of NTSC. So yeah, it's not, you get what you pay for here. It says it's 14 inches. It's 220 nits. And no touch. And it definitely feels like there's a good, at least with this, there's a good amount of input lag on it. Let me see what it's doing for the display resolution here. So right now it's automatically setting the resolution. It looks a little stretched, but I think that just might be what this thing is doing. And here's a game I haven't played yet. I bought this game for $2. It's on Game Pass too, but I was like, oh, well, I can get it on my Steam Deck for $2. I'll do that. So when I do the review, I'll plug it in with one cable and see how that works. Yeah, so it's pretty benign. Yeah, how about that, Clarissa, right? It just does it. It's like, yeah, no problem, we'll update you. It takes about 20 seconds. So you think about like all the economic pain involved with Windows updates, although it did just crash, didn't it? Let's try this again. Let's go. Oh, great, I gotta do something here. Maybe we'll play a different game. If I can figure out how to get out of this now. Hang on. Crab Donkey says, half display game, it doesn't look that bad. There is a setting in here for overscan, I think. Let's see. Let me pull it up. I think the display actually locked up. No, it's up here. We go. Let's see. Yeah, it's taken a while for the menu to come up here. There we go. So there's a proportion. Oh, maybe that's why it didn't detect it before. That's HDR, never mind. I'm going to leave that on because I bet you, it does say FreeSync right here. And that's just what it's setting itself as, 16 by 9 or 4 by 3. I'm pretty sure I saw something that allows you to adjust the position. So language is English. Yeah, so there is an H position and a V position. I don't know if that's going to adjust the overscan. The problem is that I don't have a full image on the screen here, and it looks like this is locked up. So let me just unplug it real quick just to see what's going on here. So it's doing some weird, funky EA thing here. This is an EA game through Steam. So we'll let that finish installing, and then we'll figure out what it's doing. Anthony Gwynn says, oh, really? Most EA games don't work with the Steam Deck anymore because of the launcher. And James says, he doesn't want to nitpick, but the nits are low. And Hector says, do I have, I don't think I have Cuphead on Steam. I'll double check. Maybe I do. I think I bought it through Microsoft because they had that cross-platform save thing. All right, cool. I got tonight's video is ready to get uploaded, so I'm going to work on that in a little bit. All right. Yeah, it's installing a whole bunch of stuff here. And my battery is like super dead, so. I got to do more with this thing. I haven't really done a lot of custom stuff. I did install like that big emulator thing, and it's a big mess on here right now. So I gotta clean that off and start over again. All right, I got to go through all the. Geez, now it wants to send me codes. One second here. Shoot, this went off the screen. I got to get a keyboard up on the screen here. How do I get the keyboard up? Steam plus X. There we go. Okay, so I got to type in this code. You know, back in my day, you bought a game and you just put the cartridge in. There was no update. It just worked, right? So Samuel Powell wants to know, what is the resolution? The resolution on this one is 1080p. Yeah, James has got a good point here. These should be called live updates. All right, we're waiting for this to pop in here. Okay, so now, will the game play? Let's see. All right, so I'm going to plug in the display again. I don't know if it's going to switch in real time, because right now it's kind of running at the 720p built-in display here. But let's plug in the HDMI again. And again, on the regular review, what I'll do is plug in through the USB-C. And I'll just force it to 1080p here and see how it looks. Because right now it's just stretching it out, it looks like. And Yum Yum Raisin is here. Yeah, it does not work directly plugged in. It's likely because of the power draw. So we did look at that Pepper Jobs display a few weeks ago, and that one did do it because it has a battery on the display, so it's able to power itself, and then it's just the video signal running out. All right. Oops, no, hang on a second. I'm just screwing up everything. Yeah, but my Atari games back there, I got a bunch of them on the shelf. All those, they didn't require anything. You just plug the cartridge in. And look at that, I got an actual Atari controller. I didn't realize that I still had my Pitfall cartridge back there. That's great. I'm doing a video. I'm going to probably record it tomorrow live on Amazon, where we're going to boot up my old Atari, or a new Atari to me, but my old Atari games on that. So we'll give that a go. But yeah, the EA games tend to be a little more involved. Even on the regular PC side, they're more involved. You got to go through all this rigmarole. All right, so let me go. I just want to set the display to 1080p. Oh, there it goes. Oh no, it's still the letterbox. Hang on. Yeah, I think what it's doing is it's stretching out the display here. So let me go in. But I have no reason to think that this is not going to work correctly. Game is not paused, it says. Social progression store. How do I go to the settings? I guess I got to get out of here. How do I get out of here? Quit the lobby, okay. Oh, here we go, settings. And, oops, no. Ooh. How do you move through the menu here? Right button. There we go. Graphics. Oh, it's, yes, at 1280 by 800. And I can't set it. Yeah, it's funny. It's not letting me get this set higher. Let me try a different game. And the Steam overlay is not coming on either. Let's see. Yeah, so it looks like they canceled their contracts to produce more of them. I think the problem with the Atari VCS is that it's a it's a commodity device, right? And I did a video about when I did a video on the Intellivision Amico, and it was kind of in the same vein. It's so hard to launch a console, right? Like Valve could do it with the Steam Deck because they have this huge platform and all of these people on it. So it was a no-brainer, like, hey, take the games that you've already bought and play them on the go with your Steam Deck, right? That's an easier movement. And all the problems I'm having right now have nothing to do with the display. It's all about compatibility. But the bottom line is that it does work. So what I'm going to do is charge this thing up because I wanted to show it working when you plug it in. But maybe I will go, let me load up a game that might work better. Let me plug this back in now and see if we can get this situated. It's weird. It's like the Steam, this is like an all-in EA thing. It's just not cooperating. So I'm going to come back to this. But it does work. And I just need to find a better example of it working before we go too much further. What I am going to try, though, is I'm going to go grab my DeX-enabled phone upstairs that my daughters stole. My kids want phones. They're too young for phones. They come down here, and of course, I've got phones all over the place. And they're like, we want a phone. I want this one. I'm like, no, you can't have that one. That one's for special circumstances here. All right, hang on a second. Let me go find that phone. Bear with me, everybody. He's got to find where my wife put it. See, this is what happens. The kids grab stuff, and then everything disappears. I think it might be in this pile of stuff, but let's see. Yeah, my wife brought it back downstairs. Well, this might, maybe she brought it back down. Hang on a second. I'm just looking for that phone. I have a DeX-enabled phone, but like I said, my kids were raiding my office the other day. This is the story of my life. Like, things go missing here. Not because someone takes them, it's because somebody moves them and doesn't tell me where they put it. Or, here it is. Is this it? Yes, okay. And hopefully this thing has a charge. All right, so now I have a DeX-enabled phone here. And it may be dead. Let's see. Because I believe my beautiful, lovely daughter took the phone and plugged it in, or turned it on. And let's see if it's charged. I don't think it is. Yeah, it's not charged. We'll let it charge for a second, just long enough that we can get it to... Exactly. You got to pay for the phone like everyone else. So Roman's got a good point here. I would say the quality control was probably... I mean, I never had a problem with my NES games. Let's put it that way. I guess as things got more complex, it became an issue. So Dustin, if you click the link, it'll take you to my live stream. And at the bottom, you'll see the link to this. This is a OrangePi display. It's pretty inexpensive. The price is a little deceiving because they're saying that it only costs $65, which is not entirely accurate. because they charge you $25 for shipping. Oh my good. So Sam has got his driving test today in heavy rain. Good luck to you. Just take it slow. You can never get in trouble for being careful. And that's how my self-driving car drives. It's like, it's extremely careful. Like it's kind of funny to actually watch the car try to make its decisions. All right, we're gonna boot the phone up here. So we're gonna have to let this thing charge up. This is an old Galaxy S8, but it supports DeX. And I've got it fast charging off of a pretty heavy duty charger there. So we'll let that go. And what I will do is charge up everything that needs charging this evening. So when I go to shoot this tomorrow, it'll be ready to go. And I gotta type in my password here. I don't even know where this phone came from. I think it, goes. I think it came in from Qualcomm at one point. I did something with it. And I use this phone only on for this purpose, which is hooking up DeX, looking at DeX compatibility. But I think what's happening now, and this is a good point from Relentless, is that now what happens is they just ship it, right? So like Cyberpunk was a good example of that, right? And Roman makes another good point. Yeah, so they did release multiple versions, didn't they? So like Super Mario 3, I know there was a couple of revisions of that, right? But I never encountered like a game-breaking bug on a cartridge game. There was probably a few of them, but yeah, this is what happens around here, is that you forget to turn something off, and then it sits idle for a little bit, and then it's dead, right? And the problem with what we've got set up here is that, what I got to do here too is one other thing while that's charging. The problem that we have here is that if you want to power the display, you got to have enough juice in the tank to support that activity. But I could try, let me get my iPad out actually. Hang on, let me go get the iPad while that's going so we can add that to the mix. So I have an iPad Pro, which also probably needs to be charged. I took it out at my last meeting. Oh, it's got enough charge. Well, it's got 24%. So that should be enough. So I'm going to try cooking tonight, everybody. I found some ideas for cooking burgers in a Instapot. And we used to have this restaurant in town that did these steamed cheeseburgers. So that's kind of like the taste I'm going for. So we'll see how all that goes. All right, so I've got my iPad out here. And while this is charging, I'm going to grab the cable. Yeah, we'll use this one. So here I am with Santa Claus, very festive, right? So I'm going to disconnect everything. And we're going to go just in with just the cable. And it's already showing a display, so that's a good sign. And let's see what happens. Huh. Try it again. Let me add iPad to the mix here too. So when we plugged the MacBook in, it just came up. But here, hit the button here, maybe it needs to. So the iPad recognized that it was plugged into a display port, but it's not looking like it's able to power it. Let me try this port. And it forgets what language you set it to, so it just went back to Chinese again. There it goes. So I can't see how to get it to remember the settings that I'm applying to it. Like after you disconnect power, it forgets everything. So let's go back and set it to English again. There's like no save option. So I'm like backing into all the settings here every time I plug it in. But it seems to work. You know. So that's the iPad. So the iPad's working. And where are we at charge-wise on this one? Let's see. We are at 5%, so we're almost there. And what I'm going to do, this will be the last thing I do before I got to run. I'm going to grab my ThinkPad keyboard because there's a USB port on that display. Where did that keyboard go? See, here we go again. It disappeared. And what we're going to do is plug the keyboard in with its USB dongle, and we should be able to use it as like a little dock. That is the theory that I am operating under. Ow. And see, part of my plan had been to get a helper in here to start working on some of this backlog that I have, but I can't get anybody that wants to do it. Where did it go? All right, so we know that works. And give this another little bit of a charge here. And I'm trying to think where that keyboard went. I was using it the other day. Sometimes what I do is I move things out of the way so I can start the next project, and then I put them down somewhere that I know I'll find them again, and then they disappear. That's how it rolls around here. Yeah, so it's kind of a get what you pay for scenario with this display, but it does work. And I was surprised that it will power itself over the USB connection. So if you have a compatible device like a MacBook or a Windows PC that supports it, you can plug it all in with one cable and be done. So that's a plus. All right, we're just waiting for that to finish charging up a little bit more. And then we'll try one more thing. All right, let me take a few questions here. So, oh yeah, well I'm looking for somebody to actually do on-camera stuff because I have such a backlog of things. Like there's certain things that I think would do well regardless of whether or not I review them or somebody else. So we're going to try, Jake's going to try to do a couple himself after the first of the year, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know if he wanted to do it before, but he's up for the challenge. So we're going to give Jake a go. But there's other things that are tech products that I think would be better reviewed by a woman because they, you know what I mean, like it would get a better reach than if I were to review it. So I'm looking at a few of those things on my mess of equipment here. So that's some stuff that I've been thinking about. But we'll see what next year brings. It's going to be a much more economically, not for me necessarily, but for just this space in general is going to be much more challenging next year because the ad dollars are definitely down. And so in order to compensate, I need to pump out more content because the market is constrained. So and I really want to avoid having to take on sponsorships. So that's part of what's driving me on that. Now, where did that keyboard go? Well, you know what I'll do, though, is I'll plug in. So the other thing is my daughter stole my mouse that I had down here, too, because that's missing. Where did it go? Yeah, I'm going to have to do a massive cleanup down here. Well, I do have a keyboard, so I could try that. Or I'll go grab another, go find the other mouse. Sorry, everybody, I'm just flustered because nothing is where it's supposed to be. And then every time I get up, I see things that I've been meaning to get to and can't. And I think part of it is that I'm taking longer to produce things, and I think it's because the longer you do it, the more that you need to the more that you need to know that you need to cover, if that makes sense. So I'm taking more time per thing to produce. The result is that the content quality, I think, is better, but it means that I can't get as much done in the same span of time. So it's at the end of the year you start thinking about these things. It's not bad, it's just the nature of the workflow. But this is like year 10 for me doing this, believe it or not. I've been full-time for less than that. And where did it go? Sorry, everybody. I'm a mess. Oh, here it is. Okay, back in business. And the good news is we were letting that thing charge up, so I think that is part of it. Okay, so now what we want to do, yeah, I get hit up by, here's the other problem. I am not an artist. And so as is apparent here in my mess of a studio, so I get approached by these companies all the time that want to be my merch provider, which is great, but the problem there is that I don't have any artwork and nobody can produce it for me. So I need to, because I'd want to do like a series of merch, right? But I don't have the artistic skills to make any of it. So that's been a frustration. So I'd love to hear some ideas on that, or if one of you has some skill, because I think it'd be fun, not only to have the logo, but all of my quirky nuances is part of it too. Hey, Ed S is here. Thank you very much for the kind words. Yeah, we pop up. He's on Amazon saying hello. Now, what do you think? Should the logo be on like as like a in the corner here, or like a big, frontal thing or a back thing? Like, what do y'all think about that? So the black text on yellow. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll do something simple to start with and see where it goes. And who's a good merch provider? So I want to get some higher quality stuff. By the way, what I'm doing here is I've got this dongle, and I'm plugging the dongle into the USB port here, because I think what this port will do is pass through. Doesn't seem to fit very well here. What this port should do is pass through the keyboard control to the phone when we plug it in. Now the phone is at, where are we at? We're at 14%, and we're fast charging, so we'll get this thing going here in a second. Relentless Relento says a leather bike jacket. There you go. I'm in for that. It's my daughter's fault. Yeah. So Knopwork says, maybe I'll put a big QR code on there and see where it goes. Hey, it looks like our spammers came back. Ed says, Justin Dragon Bloggers who's happy with it. Yeah, because one of the things, I don't want to have like this garbage stuff, right? Like I want the quality to be decent. So maybe I'll look into that again. All right, so we're going to plug the phone in, and we're going to go into DeX mode. And let's see what we get. Okay, looks like it's working. Samsung DeX. And the big question is whether or not this keyboard is going to work. Let's see. It does not appear to be working just yet. And obviously I can't use the... let's try plugging it in with... Okay, plug that in. I got to put this in Android mode, I think. Yeah, so this does not appear to be working with the keyboard. And I know this worked when I did it on... Frank wants an 8-ball jacket like Buddy on Seinfeld. Well, it's good to know that there's some interest there. So I will investigate that if you guys want me to put some merch together. So I wanted something like all the opinions are my own. Is this thing dead too? Maybe this is dead. All right, let's plug the I think the keyboard is dead too. What is going on down here? Everything is dead today. Yep, it was dead. So it does work as I thought it did. So there is a, that USB will pass through. So we're able to use the mouse here. So I can pull up that menu. And this is going off the phone that we're connected to. It is really dim though. So let me go in. Yes, it went back to Chinese again. So I don't know if I'm missing some way to save these settings or something, because it doesn't seem like it's retaining the settings from one session to the next. But it's, you know, it's adequately bright. You can see what the viewing angles look like. It does, you lose, you can see it pretty well, but you'll lose some of the brightness when you go off center. Yeah, I should sell some batteries. That's a good idea. Stickers, I could do some stickers. Do some mouse pads, I could do that. All right, so I'm gonna do that during my vacation week. I'm taking a week off. You won't know it because I'm hopefully we'll have some content queued up for you all while I'm away, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm just taking a week off. All right, so let's see. Yep, that works. So DeX works too. There you go. All right, so what I need to do is plug everything in and charge it now. And then we'll have, hopefully by the time we're done, everything charged to the point that it's going to be usable. I did just get a really nice new charger. I bought it from Anker, that one that you saw the other day. That thing's great. It charges, I think it does like 160 watts max. And it's got 3 USB-Cs and a USB-A. So I can charge 4 things at pretty much the full rate of speed, and it can power my MacBook Pro at the same time. So that was a good thing. All right, so I've got enough to get started with this in the morning. So we're going to shoot this in the morning. Back before I had children, what I would do is go all night, but I can't do that anymore. But yeah, the loss of settings is rather aggravating on this. Maybe I should get one of those swirly things on there, right? That could do it. Or, right, I could just learn Chinese and that would solve the problem. But yeah, DeX seems to work pretty good. Yeah, I think DeX is kind of underrated, right? You plug the phone in and you get yourself a desktop interface. It really is pretty cool. It is really neat. All right. Yeah, in this house, exactly. Be kind to your father, and when you take a phone, charge it. Because everything is dead today. The keyboard, the Steam Deck, the Switch had power because they were playing with that. But there you go. All right. I got to run, so I have to get tonight's video prepped. I got to take the dog out for a walk. I've got a million things to do, so let me get that done. I'm going to shoot this in the morning. We're going to do, if you're not following me on Amazon, follow me there because I'm going to shoot my Atari video, and I'm going to do it live on Amazon tomorrow. I have no idea what time. Because I've really got to hustle because today's the 21st, so I've got Thursday, Friday. I'm trying to take a week off because I really need to recharge. Literally recharge. And Relentless forgets that Dex even exists on his phone. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, when you have a laptop and everything else, it's just kind of becomes part of the system there. So, yeah, and I just need to go, and I need to spend that week off, even though it's kind of like working, I'm going to go through this place and just clean it out because it's a mess down here. All right, so follow me on Amazon like JF just did, and I have been popping up on Amazon a little more frequently than YouTube, partly because if I'm recording a video live, excuse me, if I'm recording a video live, I don't want to put it on YouTube while I'm recording it because then a whole bunch of you won't watch it. So that's how I kind of roll on that. Be kind, recharge, would work great. Yeah, I think I could come up, I want to come up with a bunch of like those kinds of things, right? Because like Linus does all those funky shirts and everything. So yeah, let me look around and see what I can find on the merch side. I do know artists, so maybe I should talk to an artist and see. I have two that I know in particular. Maybe I work out some deal with them. I just want to find like something high quality. YouTube integrates with what? I forgot who they integrate with. But they have a merch provider that they prefer that kind of integrates into your... Yeah, I'll figure it out. All right, that'll be another thing for the new year. We'll do some merch. And you all can walk around, and when people say, who the heck is Lon, you can tell them all about me. I am the most anonymous 320,000 subscriber YouTuber out there. Yeah, Linus goes over the top, and he's got like screwdrivers and yeah, I don't want to like hawk stuff all day to you, so it'll be there if you want it, great. If not, no big deal. But I think I might talk to my artist friends and see what they may be able to do for me. So we'll go from there. Now, one thing I discovered, James, with Amazon is that if Amazon's app is pushing you a lot of notifications for sales and items, so every notification you get from Amazon gets counted during the day. And if you get to a certain number of notifications, irrespective of live streaming, it won't send the notification to you. I did get one myself because mine popped up when I went live, but just be aware of that. And thank you, Relentless. It's kind of you to say. I'm 329,000 now. Look at that. Let me pull. I haven't been, honest to God, I haven't been looking at it. So I guess yeah, I am 329,000. Hey, we might hit 330,000 by the time we're done here. So Dustin Buckingham and Lewis, thank you for the follows. Yeah, Amazon's been great. I really enjoy doing the Amazon stuff. It's a very Amazon is very compatible with my commoditized workflow. So. Does he have toilet paper? I can get toilet paper made, by the way. So we'll figure that out. And Ed suggested maybe doing some more. Yeah, I should probably like queue up some way to just get those out. I think what happens while I am doing this, once it goes live and gets into my YouTube feed, I am pretty sure it pushes out a notification, pushes it out on Twitter. Yeah, so this is up on Twitter right now. But it just posted it 9 minutes ago based on the workflow that I have. Let me check my Mastodon. The Mastodon one goes up. Yeah, so the Mastodon one went up pretty shortly after I started streaming. So I think what I need to do is, I've been having the Twitter stuff go into Buffer so that it kind of posts a little after the thing gets put up, but I'll figure it out. All right. Well, that is it. You're going to see more on this when I get everything charged. And I will be back here before you know it. Yeah, socks would be kind of cool. Yeah, David, you can come by and pick up the shirt here if you want. You're not too far from me. See, there you go, Roman. I could, you know what? I could import a bunch of these and just put my logo over here. It would be the Lon.TV. And YouTube will, yeah, when YouTube's notifications work, you will get it right away if you have it set. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you will not get the notification all the time unless you've got it set up for that. So. And Clarissa says, no, good, I will keep it calm. That's what's fun about the live streams is we just take our time, get everything right. Exactly. All right. Well, I'm going to run, everybody, but I thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank Roman, who once again, Roman is like my, if it wasn't for Roman, we'd have half the content on the channel because he's always coming across these deals that I just don't even know about. So, you know, it's pretty cool stuff. But it's inexpensive. So there you go. All right, get that holiday shopping done, everybody. And I will catch you all on the next one. And 7-3 to all my fellow hams out there. And we'll catch you on the next stream, okay? Bye-bye.